Welcome to the Best Advice Podcast with your host, life and love success coach, and author of The Poison of Perfection, Angela Wadley. If you're looking for authentic, no-holds-barred advice about life, love, business, career, or health, you've come to the right place. You'll hear from fascinating guests as they quickly reveal their powerful advice to inspire you to create and live your best life. So get ready, grab a pen, or make a mental note. You don't want to miss this.
Hi, and welcome to the show.
Hey, Angela. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It is an absolute pleasure to be here.
When it comes to business, career, love, health, or life in general, if you have ever struggled with a decision, had to figure your way out through something, or just learned a valuable lesson, what is the best advice that you can share?
When it comes to life, the best advice that I can give is that it's the smallest events that can create the most meaningful change in our lives. We just have to stop and reflect to activate that change. And I bet as you are listening to this, you would not expect the way that I came to this realization. You would not expect that stepping on a snail can be the one thing that changes the course of your entire life. Let me share you the story of how I got here. My entire life, I've always been a high achiever. I was working in the health and sports industry and I was generally happy. I was generally successful until one morning in my mid-20s where something so small happened, but it started my quarter-life crisis, which I now call my quarter-life awakening. What had happened was I had gotten up early this morning to go for a run, and as I stepped out onto the sidewalk to start, I hear a crunch. And I'm like, what's that? What's going on? And I look down to notice that I had stepped on a snail. Now, this isn't the first time that this has happened before, but for some reason, this particular morning, I could not stop thinking about it. I couldn't help but feel guilty that me doing my own thing, living my own life, I had caused an effect on something outside of me. Such an effect in this case where I had killed something. And I remember I had run up a hill later during this run. I could see the whole neighborhood. I could see the sun rising. And then it just hit me. It was like a veil had been taken out from in front of my eyes. I could see the bigger picture of, I felt so guilty that I had caused this effect on this life. But there were so many other ways that my lifestyle was already neglecting different forms of life. And this got me thinking. Over the coming months, I started to see more and more ways that my lifestyle had consequences that I wouldn't ever see, whether it was the plastic that I was using or the clothes that I was wearing. And this sent me spiraling because I could see how much power I had as an individual, yet how helpless I was, how insignificant I was to create significant change in this world. And I started to resent myself. I started to resent humanity for the role of devastation it had on the planet. And it got to the point where me going into work, teaching people how to squat in the gym, teaching people how to do wrist exercises to reduce pain, just wasn't enough anymore. I knew I needed to become more, to do more, to create ripples of impact in this world, to leave the world a better place than how I was born onto it. And because of that, I went through a career change. I left the health and sports industry and I started working with women to help them transform, not just as athletes, but as human beings. Started working with women to help them live out their purpose and potential so that they could thrive in their lives. Because when enough individuals thrive, then I believe humanity will thrive. And when humanity thrives, the whole world will thrive for all forms of life and future generations. So I went through a whole career change because I stepped on a snail. And that just shows it's the smallest events in our life that have the most power to create meaningful change. We just have to stop and reflect in order to activate that change.
Okay, so if you were a character in a TV show or movie, which character would you be and why?
Okay, this one's really easy for me to answer. Hands down, Superwoman. Firstly, Gal Gadot, absolutely stunning. Would love to step into her shoes. But also, I often feel like I have been planted on earth as a figure to help humanity, to help the planet. So I really resonate with Superwoman in that way. Plus, having superpowers, imagine the freedom and how much fun that'd be.
Thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Thank you once again, Angela, for having me on the show. I love to share this story because it's so unexpected, but it's so powerful. So I am honored that I've been given this opportunity to share. And if anyone has any questions, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, please do. I always have my heart and my arms open to build connections and to share this message out there.
Thanks for listening to this episode. Please subscribe and share with someone you care about. To catch all the latest from Angela, go to www.angelawadley.com. Until next time, keep growing and keep going.